Welcome to Faith Over Breakfast. You are listening to a podcast by Pastor Eric Deepen and Pastor Andy Littleton. If you enjoy Faith Over Breakfast, we encourage you to rate it on the Apple Podcast app, on Spotify, or Google Play. Thank you and enjoy the podcast.
Welcome to Faith Over Breakfast 2026.
Wow, 2026.
Year inaugurating edition.
It is. We only apparently managed 27 podcasts. But I just to be correct, to go back to the stats, our season starts in October. So from October to October, we have more podcasts.
I see.
Because that's when we started our podcast.
I see.
So,
okay.
But we only managed 27 podcasts last year.
Only 27 podcasts. Well, who knows what's in store this next year? Maybe more, maybe less. We'll see. What's this podcast about? I'm gonna, Eric and I disagree. I'm just gonna acknowledge this right here, and we love each other. This beginning of the podcast, we're gonna kind of say hello and talk a little bit about the podcast and some stats, and if you, like Eric, are into that, you're gonna love that part, and you're gonna be very intrigued. And if you don't, you'll hear our voices and get used to them and all that. Somewhere in there, we meander into relationship, friendship, community dynamics, people leaving. Is it good to be rooted? What happens dynamically when you leave things? But also for those people who don't leave things as much, how can we look at changes in relationship? I think it got really
rich. And there's a little Tucson analysis we analyzed.
That's right.
The makeup of Tucson, so you can think through. If you're a Tucsonan, you can think through. Well, is that true? Or who am I? How do I fit into this narrative?
Yeah.
Or am I a whole different category they didn't talk about?
Yeah, and if you are, you can feel free to reach out and say, I want to hear more, and you missed a category. We'd love that.
Yeah.
So, enjoy.
All right. Thanks.
Sounds like.
Oh, hi, Andy.
Hi.
It's good to see you. Welcome to 2026.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a new year, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do New Year thinking? Does anything change for you when that calendar flips?
Well, because we have fallow month. Yes.
Just in life, like do you do milestones? Do you think in periods and milestones?
Yes, I do think in periods of at least years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I kind of,
I do too.
We have our 20 prayers, so I'm praying something into the year.
Yeah. I got to be here for that sermon.
Oh, you did? You were here for the 20 year prayer. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I know all about it now.
Yeah, you know all about the 20 prayers.
All about the 20 prayers.
20 prayers, 20 plus years.
Yeah. So this is 25 years of the village now?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going into year 12 for me.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It's hard. There was the merger story for us, so it's not like the church age is a little bit nebulous.
Yeah. When did the merger happen? How many years ago?
This year will be the 10 year of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're 10 years as like sort of this new thing.
Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I feel like you know how maybe you don't know this, but like with military time, if you get out of the military before you get a retirement, but then you go into a government job, you can buy back your retirement from the military.
Okay.
But it's it's expensive. So I'm wondering if you've merged, one church merges with another, can you like buy back so it's each year counts like a half year in your age?
No.
I don't think
so.
That doesn't work. Okay.
Yeah. I don't feel the need to do that.
You don't want to buy back years?
No. They can be what they are. Yeah, I don't need to own any more of them. I lived those years.
You did live them.
Yeah.
I even lived some of them with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting because we were not doing this podcast when you merged.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, because just 2009. I mean, we've been 9 years, so
yeah, maybe not.
2017 is when we did our first podcast.
Yeah, it would have been just after.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is this represents almost the entire lifespan of Mission Church.
Whoa. Yeah, that's something
The
else.
faith of it. Well, the fact that you and I have been talking for 9 years,
Uh-huh.
on average, I bet at least 30 podcasts a year. So
Right.
30 times
Right.
you and I have sat down to talk about something.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I think, you
You were just looking at this,
yeah,
this
you
year
always,
in review.
You're always
thing.
asking me, do the stats matter? And do people care? Well, I think the thing that hit me in them is not like how many people or the fact that, we're in 50% of all Buzzsprout podcasts, but that we've been doing it for 9 years.
Yeah.
That was a substantial relational number.
It is a relational number. Yeah, and I want to clarify. Of course, the stats matter to somebody, and
Sure.
I think especially to us. I am always asking, does the audience of Faith Over Breakfast want to know our stats, Eric? That's my
Yes.
question. But, part of hanging out with Eric is Eric likes stats.
He does.
So you're going to hear some of those
It's
things.
cool that you're
Yeah.
in 300 cities, I think, something like that.
Yeah. No,
Or
that is cool.
countries. I don't know, whatever it was.
Yeah.
What the number
How many
is.
countries are there?
I don't know. But let's just...
We've pretty much swept the world at this point. 133 countries. Is that this year?
Yeah.
Listen to Faith Over
Yes, this year.
That's really interesting.
That is interesting.
That surprises me. I have my doubts.
You
but-
have your...
That's cool. Yeah. That many countries listen to. Yeah. Wow. Okay. A lot of countries. I think that's a lot of small countries that are all next to each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all next to each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
They care, I mean, it's a one guy in Paraguay or whatever.
Yeah, he just keeps moving around. No, you're fine.
Okay.
My headphones are weird. Yeah, that's wild. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
4,000 people down. Does that mean they listened or they...
downloaded.
Does that count when people listen on other platforms?
It's all platforms.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
we could break it down. It'll tell you what they listen to on, if they listen to it on
Wow.
phones, what kind of phone they listen to.
Can you
it
tell if they're
on.
paying attention? Because I'd like to know that detail.
Yeah.
I'd like to know whose voice they like better.
Well, the
'Cause it's definitely
advertisers,
yours.
they believe that if you get 1,000 downloads a month,
We did not do that.
then you can get some advertising, but you only have to do it once, and then you can get at least qualify for advertising. So
Wow.
people sometimes hear
Sometimes.
ads on our podcast. Well, that's why we do that.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
there's the stats. So,
Yeah. So
yeah.
Here
How
we
are
are.
you feeling about 2026?
in some ways, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah.
I feel like the world and maybe even my life is not matching how I feel about things.
Oh, I can relate to that.
I feel great about things. I'm
Yeah.
excited about what God's doing.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of stuff, or maybe this is the sign that God's doing stuff. There's a lot of disruption around me, and then there's the world is
Yeah.
disrupted. And I mean, you were at my sermon,
Uh-huh.
and I opened it up with the prognosticators for 2026 said uncertain and expensive were what we were
Yeah.
looking at, and I'm pretty sure that's where we're headed.
Sure.
Everything is very uncertain.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
People, there's violence, though I don't know if the violence has changed. It's just the way things get reported. I mean, in December, do you remember there was, I think, that fire, was it in Switzerland or Sweden, in the club? Did you hear about
I don't even
Or
think I heard about it.
There's a bar, and a bunch of kids died. It was like front page news. So here I am knowing this tragic moment that's happened in a faraway country,
Yeah.
in a small,
Yeah.
area like that. That creates it's just everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
that's interesting. I mean, I relate to you in what you're saying. I feel strangely optimistic and good currently, despite, so my wife and I, our 3 living parents, are all health-wise not great.
Not doing well.
And that is taking a lot of our time and energy, and just, there are things that I would normally be on top of that I am just not. Like, there's, probably ways that we are not managing our life very well because we are doing that.
It's weird. How old are you?
43.
So that's interesting because you're playing out the life of a sandwich generation, but we're
younger,
a little bit younger in it.
But that's something that my wife and I have in common as older parents. There's probably a reason we connect because of that.
Sure.
But also, we've realized we're doing this far earlier. So it's weird to have your daughter move out for college and 3 months later your mom move in.
Yeah.
Because she's older, going through a treatment, and you're not sure she can make it on her own. So that's not as typical. And for both people in the couple to be having that experience simultaneously, it's not normal.
Yeah, no.
Or not typical.
Especially at your age. It's more my age.
Yeah. Sorry, I backed off because I have like this major head itch that this is what our audience wants to know. I could not widget, Eric. It was impossible.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah, it was one that was like, I'm going to lose my mind. Anyway.
Yeah, I bet a lot of our listeners are in that or headed into that sandwich generation.
Yeah, there's a topic we can talk about later in the year, Eric. We've just identified. Yeah. Did you mark that down somewhere?
Yeah.
Did you capture that?
Ching.
Yeah, maybe we need an email from one of our listeners to tell us to talk about the thing we said we would talk about. Yeah. Anyway, that's a lot. I'm doing the book writing thing, which you kind of, every once in a while I've had these experiences where I kind of laugh because I go, well, yeah, I mean, I had planned out to do this journey and write this book, and I gave myself deadlines quite a while ago before I could see this.
Right.
And maybe I would not have maybe I would have pushed it back a year or something, but you can never know the future like that. And so sometimes you just find yourself going, okay, so am I really going to write a book right now? Just state of the world stuff is discouraging in many ways. But at the same time, I don't know. I feel, somebody asked me the other day, like, how are you doing? And I said, one thing I think has happened in me is I've gotten a little used to, I'm less thrown off by crazy. So I wake up and I go, oh my gosh, we got to run my mom here. And then I'm supposed to finish a chapter and I've got to work on a sermon. And that used to bother me more. I used to just be like, oh, this is like, kind of a life's unfair. And it would just make it all worse. And I think lately, probably due to a number of life experiences, I've woken up and gone, it's going to be crazy. But there's just one of me, and I can only be in one place at one time, and I'll do what I can. Just do the day, and then it's done. And you do it again. And I guess I'm less. Maybe there's an acceptance in that. You're older than me, Eric, so you've done this. You've been doing this for so much longer than me.
Yeah,
maybe. But so in the midst of that, I see God doing things. I've had some really encouraging moments and conversations. Feel like some healing happens within me. The book journey's actually been really great. Really enjoyed 2025 at Mission a lot. A lot of good things. So yeah, I'm also feeling super grateful and and kind of anticipating some good things to come. So, and for the world to be a mess and people will die and things were that's all there.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
What does it mean to live a life of faith? What does it mean to live as a Catholic Christian? Hi, this is Bishop Kevin Sweeney, host of the podcast Beyond the Beacon. Join me as we unravel and discuss the mysteries of our faith, of the church, of living as Catholic Christians. Be inspired by engaging interviews with priests and seminarians, deacons, religious, women and men who live the life of faith day by day here in our Diocese of Patterson in food pantries and classrooms, in parishes and ministry. How is God working in their lives today? How is God working in our lives? Join me as I ask them and be part of the conversation on Beyond the Beacon. Listen and follow Beyond the Beacon wherever you get your podcasts, or watch it on my YouTube channel. Please check the show notes for more details. Thank you and God bless you.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, like last year I headed into, we were talking about what was the most popular podcast. What was the one about my mother, right? Because she passed away.
About a year ago was that podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did,
I can't believe it's been that long.
2 other memorial services for moms passing away in our church. And so, I mean, it's like, wow, 2025, there's a lot stuff. And then we headed into 2026, but it's still just stuff, you know? I mean, there's still things. The world was still moving. People were still doing stuff. The news was bad. You know, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not, like you said, there's only one of me.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, I mean, I'm excited that God's always doing stuff, and just trying to be part of whatever he's doing is fun to me.
Yeah.
Even if it's kind of chaotic.
Well, God's in that chaos. I heard somebody say the other day, and it made me wonder about something, but it was a reflection about, you know, wishing that they'd walked in the Spirit. It was this time of stress, and I know what they meant. You know, they wanted to be, maybe they were frustrated or something like that. But I was, you know, having spent a whole year in the book of Acts, I have maybe gotten a little more perspective on what do we mean by that. And I think sometimes I have meant I've thought, if I'm walking with the Spirit, it means I feel good.
Yeah.
And things are working and I'm responding, even if things are bad, that I'm responding. And it almost feels more like a Zen, you know, way of like, I'm unaffected.
Right.
Or something. And I think I've changed my mind on that too. And maybe that helps, to where I've said, sometimes actually when when something's stressful, and maybe I even blow it and then stay in the moment with the person, and we acknowledge that, yeah, this is messy, and you know, that can very much be a Spirit moment. It doesn't have to just be because it was smooth or non-stressful, or that my response led to the response I hoped for in another person. Sometimes my response leads to the opposite response. And I think something about the book of Acts last year made me think, yeah, the Spirit's at work in all of that. Mm-hmm. And maybe I can rest more in that. Mm-hmm. Whereas I used to think if things didn't feel like they were working now, I wasn't sure if the Spirit was there or working, or like I was missing something. I'm feeling less that way, and that helps a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think as human beings, in particular as followers of Jesus, but I think human beings are always making sense of things, and it's very linear. Like, and how did I do? Like, was I doing this, and was I doing the right things, and to get the right results? Right. And I wish I'd done it better or different. And you know, there's so many times in ministry where I'm like, oh wow, this person, they had the light turn on, and they understand who Jesus is. Right. And then 2 weeks later, you find out they did in that moment. Yeah, but they kind of drifted off. It's not playing out, or you know, or you think, oh, God's doing this, and then you head off to do that, and it all falls apart. Yeah. And everyone's, yes, you're called to that. And then, was I called to that? Well,
yeah. And you start doubting the whole thing. And
whereas if Jesus is in the sort of mess with you, and you're just trying to move towards him, and it's, you know, it's more about the intimacy with God and the transformation into his likeness in the process. Yes. Trusting that he works these all out. It's so messy.
You're right, though, about the linear cumulative assumptions we have. That I like how you're saying that. I think that, I wonder if that's just natural, and most people go through having to kind of rethink that, or if that's a product of our time, that things are supposed to move. Like if a person comes comes to the village and they say, you know what? I didn't believe in God. But when I heard Eric Siepen talk about the 20 prayers, a light went off and I believe. And you go, oh, wonderful. And then you think, well, I know what's going to happen next. They're going to start to become a more mature person.
And get baptized.
And they're going to get baptized. And then their family's going to get better. And then they're going to get a way better job. And they're going to begin impacting the community. And then they're going to be leading all these other people to Jesus. And then, by the end of their life, like maybe they've taken over the world for Jesus. They've gone so far. Like, that's rarely how it goes, right? That's, the light comes on, they tell you about it. And then 2 weeks later, it's like, well, I don't know if I really want to. Yeah, there's so many versions. It goes, it doesn't go linear.
No,
it's more like it spiral or fits and starts or fall and get back up. And we're all doing that. And it's chaotic.
Well, I mean, if we just go back to talking about the merger of mission and
that was linear. It started one place. We knew exactly where it was going to go. It's there.
Yeah,
it's exactly the way we imagined it.
Well, I can't even. What was the name of the church you merged with?
Epicenter.
Right?
Midtown and Epicenter.
Yeah, the Midtown.
So many things. The way. Okay, here's an interesting reflection on 2025. 2025 was one of the years, despite all kinds of change and all kinds of, painful transitions and such. There were a number of times in 2025 where not just which this was really encouraging, other people would say it too. They'd go, this feels like the vision. Like, this feels like what we've been talking about. It's happening, right? We can feel it. And there's it was a year of very sweet camaraderie and growth and depth wise, especially. That whole it was weird. It actually, to me, when we first designed Midtown and we talked and we sat down and we looked at the different restaurants and stores where people of Midtown Church or of Midtown Tucson, the places they gathered and that they appreciated, and we asked what would it look like to do Christianity in a way that took cues from this culture. 2025 felt the closest to that. And that was the pre-merger discussions, but 2025 felt the closest to that I have ever experienced. And that was really cool to see. But the path has not been linear.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting just reflecting on 2025 at the Village. I think that this was the first year in probably the last 10 to 15 years where at least one new believer or someone who had been walking kind of into the faith had been baptized.
Yeah.
All we had was we had some children who got baptized, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
So that was a weird thing to kind of reflect on.
Yeah.
And at the same time, in the midst of that, this year is the first year in a long time where we had a relatively large surplus financially for us.
Yeah.
We have the most people in our pilgrim groups. We grew the most that we've ever grown. So it's just different things that but just reflecting that's interesting.
Yeah.
So there's just 2025 was a really interesting year and all that. But I feel like when listening to you, I'm like, at 10 years in, that is kind of the coming of age time.
Sure.
It's in church years.
Yeah.
You've kind of graduated college and you bought the first house and you're like, this is.
Well, and I would assume something, and I heard this from other people, but maybe the same is true for them. It's not just what's happening in the church that we're noticing. It's something that's happening within us.
Yes.
Like that, what I was talking about with the chaos and the acceptance, right?
Sure.
It's fun. I think that happens in relationships too and stuff, right? Where you want everything to be better. And then there's a day where you kind of go, my mom was just telling me about this with my dad. We were in the kitchen and she mentioned something about how there were so many things that drove her nuts about my dad, right? And then she was always having to get him, come on, we got to leave. Let's go. We got to go. And then she said there was one day where I just realized I don't care about that stuff. Like I have to do it, but I love him. So I'm not mad that he's always late anymore. Just, she just got to that point. She's like, it is what it is, right? The cliche. It is what it is. But but yeah, I think there's the good things God's done in the church, but I think within me and within others, there's a little bit of embracing
this is what it is. God has given us this.
Yeah. And this is good.
Yeah.
And we embrace this. We love this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a big hurdle to cross.
It is. And so in relationships with people, I mean, I think it's a big thing when I talk to people about friendship, there's that hurdle because people have such expectations on what a friend will be.
Yes.
And they talk about being lonely, and then you look around and you're like, wait, you have so much rich friendship, but it isn't what you want.
It's not quite what you want. Well, thinking about this friendship journey I've been doing, that's
right.
That's an apt, topic to put on the table too. But yes, there is a lot of expectation put on friendships.
Yeah.
And I think that is similar, where probably the best friendships are the ones where you get to the point where you accept that, they're not everything I hoped.
Yeah.
But also I really love them.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't happen until somebody's gone.
Yeah.
Where it dawns on you.
Yeah.
Even though they were disappointing, I miss them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you sometimes don't know like what you're missing until you're missing it too. Like Sue was telling me, so there's a guy who lived in our neighborhood, and so he'd be over for Thanksgiving, be over for our house for dinner, events, but then he moved 40 minutes away from our house.
Yeah.
And was not part of the neighborhood community anymore.
Yep.
And so he didn't end up at a lot of those events. Then he ran into Sue, and he's like, man, you don't know what you didn't, you had until you don't have it anymore.
Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone?
Right. I mean, that's
There's
the
a song about
it. But it's pretty crazy. I feel like the invitation from God is always no, be thankful, have an attitude of thanksgiving, because it really does build.
Another theme I've seen in 2025, and I think not just in 2025, but there was a lot of people trying to move on to the next thing or find the better thing.
The better thing.
And with that story you just told about that guy, we have had so many people move off of our street. So many people within our church community change towns. I'm not saying just 2025, over the years.
Yeah.
And there's always this, again with the cliches, there's this, is the grass greener? Something's not quite here. And maybe that's what brought some of the people to Tucson or the church in the first place, right? I don't know. But that seems to be a cultural thing.
Yeah, and especially in Tucson. Where, and that the rootedness, there's just not an experience of rootedness. And do you think people are appraising well how much they lose every time they do that? No, I don't think so. I mean, but I think being rooted in a place for a long time, it's hard.
Yeah.
when everybody else moves.
Well, my family, we've felt that way. Like, well, my daughter recently, somebody was moving from the church.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually a good situation. It was one where a good thing had happened, and that's why. But she just said in a side conversation, she said, "This is what I don't like about church. Everybody leaves."
There's so much packed up in that sentence.
So much. And but I was thinking about that too. I was like, man, we have that experience on our street.
Yeah.
Our next door neighbors just moved. We just were getting to know them. Then they moved. Yeah, it's hard, I think, for those who are doing it, the things they're losing, but those who stay are, you have to start over and over and over.
You know, it's funny. I remember somehow I ended up in like a little reunion dinner with people from my youth group up at which is now Journey Church, but it was University Free. And most of us had left and gone to other churches, but the person I was sitting across from was still there. And it was like, I don't know, 10 years in after.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh no, we're one of the people who stayed."
Yeah.
And what I realized as I was talking to him is there's a group of these people at Journey Church. And Journey used to, when we were there, it was, up to 900 people.
Yeah.
It was a big church. And it had shrunk down to like 200. And there's this group of people like, this is our community. And everyone else has abandoned us. And so you can even, in the stayers, it's very tempting to
become
resentful.
We've talked about that as a family. Like, let's try to not go there as much as you can feel that way.
Yeah. Because it hurts to love and then people leave, It's just, it does. And I don't know if these stats are true anymore, to get back to stats, but when we planted the village, people were saying, the average stay in Tucson is 3 years.
Yeah.
And that's kind of built on the U of A and the military.
Right.
And then our right to work state. So people come to get a job and get established and then move on.
Yeah.
And so, and I sometimes think, is that really true? And then we start talking and you're talking about all the people moving. And I'm like, there is this sense of just transient kind of lifestyle in Tucson.
It does feel that and actually this had to do with probably some of what we were trying to do with mission. I do meet a lot of people more in the core of town, and you might know some of these too, who have not done that.
Yeah. And
I think a lot of the people who are used to church culture actually are those who have done that, who've moved around, and a lot of this core here is a little more the old guard skeptic, But there is almost a rite of passage among those people. I hear it all the time where they'll say, "Where are you from?" And then and my go-to answer, I say, "Well, I wasn't born here, but I have generations in Bisbee." And that is like okay, that'll work, and we'll take it.
So yes, and that conversation happens. And one of the things that I've experienced is, okay, so you were born in Tucson. What hospital were you born in? Yeah. So like you identify the hospital that you were born in.
And there's a little bit of so what part of town are you coming from? Because that changes things. If you're a North Sider, an East Sider, or if you're a Central person.
Yeah. And what was Central is no longer Central.
What was Central is no longer Central. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
But I think there is this community here that's been around and they've watched all the movement and all the change. And I wonder how much they relate to that feeling of not just you're not around here, but even maybe part of what they're asking is, what are the chances this is home for you?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I a while back, and I think you said this on podcast, or you just said to me privately, but we were talking about a particular church in town that kind of crafts its mission would seem to me to not be long-term sustainable. And you were saying that it's geared towards college students. And so you said, it's not geared towards people who grew up in this city.
Right.
It's geared towards the people coming in to college who are looking for something familiar.
Yes.
Even if they're not followers of Jesus, like this is a familiar thing.
Familiar cultural space.
Yes.
If you grew up in the Bible Belt or
right.
Texas or something.
Yeah. And that really hit me because it resonated that there are these two communities that exist. And it is the transient community and then those of us who've been here for ages.
Yeah.
And who are you, both of our churches are built a little bit more for the people who've been here for a long time.
I still think we see a lot of those other people coming through though. And that's
sometimes they say, "Oh yeah, I actually want this."
And they become part of that.
Yeah.
And other times they're here for 6 months or 2 years or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've tried, maybe that's another acceptance thing where I've accepted that, and I think this is what my wife and I have talked about a little bit, is we don't have God's perspective to know where this story goes. And if we start to close ourselves off because we assume people won't stay or something, I think that won't be good for anybody. So we got to keep trying and hoping and even believing that 1 year relationship has value. I have plenty of those in my life, like the 1 year. Well, I think I went to Chicago for 1 year. A number of those relationships shaped my life.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's an okay thing.
Well, do you think you grow up believing that friendship should be forever?
Sure.
That's some kind, and that's it's a true longing. I mean, I think it's designed that way. If we're eternal beings who
believing or hoping that it will be that,
but the reality is it isn't.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I was grappling with in my writing is, my best friend who died, my assumption, I think I would go ahead and say, is that we would still be best friends.
Sure.
But I don't know.
You don't know.
And what would it, even if you said you were, but he had already moved away,
right?
Moved out of state, and he married somebody, and maybe our wives like each other, but aren't close. That could happen.
Or
maybe
he doesn't have, like, something happens in your life, and he doesn't have the capacity to walk alongside him, or vice versa. And so that kind of strains the relationship,
or somebody else is able to walk alongside him, and that deepens their relationship, and it becomes primary.
Yeah.
Or even, all the other, you kind of, I was thinking about, I noticed a marked difference in my friendships when ministry became my emphasis, as opposed to those for whom it did not.
Sure. Yeah.
Now I'm in ministry world, which is a culture, in many ways. And it takes a lot of effort and time and relationship. And they're in other worlds that take effort and time and relationship. And so I've thought of, in the book, I speculate a little bit on, or open up the idea that, wow, I wonder. And but my assumption is I lost this thing I would have had for life.
Right.
I don't know exactly, actually. Yeah. I don't know what I lost.
And for sure you have it. And your friends that are in Christ, you do have forever, even if they're gone right now, or it's not connected or whatever. But.
Well, and that's one of the big things I'm unpacking in the story is, so I was using the past tense for some friends, some ones that were from other eras of my life, and I met up with some of them on this quest, right?
Yeah, the friendship quest.
Yeah, and one of them in the early meetup, he introduced me to somebody and said, "This is my friend Andy," and he put it in the present tense, even though we hadn't seen each other for 25, 30 years. I'm trying to remember. Yeah,
right,
long time. And to be honest, my guess is that we'll see each other every once in a while. I don't think we're going to hang out all the time.
Yeah.
Because we have very different lives and very different parts of town. He is around here, but you could just kind of, he has a very different life he's built. But the thing that dawned on me and what I liked about him introducing me as his friend and not a past tense friend is our period of friendship was very real and important, it changed us.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about it like it was over, like we lost it, like maybe even like I messed it up.
Yeah.
Or he messed it up, or both of us messed it up, or whatever, right? But I started to rethink that on this journey and think, what if, that assumption that we had that if it was a good friendship, it would have lasted forever, is the problem. What if it's that because God gives it to us for a period of time, it is real and it's valuable and it is eternal, right? Though I don't have the same level of time and investment in them these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's something I've been processing a lot.
Yes. And I think sometimes we, going back to not remembering, like realizing what we don't have or what we had when we don't have it anymore. Like those kinds of friendships too, like there were meaningful words that were said that were transformative, like that they like ride with you wherever you go,
right, even
if you aren't friends anymore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so that's a powerful thing. Like the
words and experiences, like things one of the guys and we talked about something we learned together when we used to try to get celebrity autographs. And we learned a lot of self-confidence, like to go stand in front of Shaquille O'Neal and try to get him to write his name on your piece of paper you have to get over this fear and this inferiority. And we just clicked talking about, like, we both took that with us into life and we did it together. It wasn't just what he said to me. It was a thing we tried and did together.
Yes.
That changed our entire lives.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Right. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, but you're no longer doing those things together, right? And that's like every phase of life is that way. I mean, you and I have done this podcast for 9 years, and, you know, my thought is, well, I want to do this forever because I like talking to you. And I like whatever it is that we've developed. And I do other podcasts, and I don't have that in the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
But this could just be the last year.
Right.
Right? I mean, and then you and I we'll talk a lot less.
But it still would have been a formative 9 years that absolutely, right? Very
formative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
super fun.
Yeah. And it doesn't need to be like, I lost it. I think that's the change, is I've been viewing it as when those things change.
Yeah.
I had something that was supposed to last, and it was, okay, in the worst sense, taken from me.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that is what gets in your head and kind of like defiles those past, the goodness of the past. Mm-hmm. That I think that was affecting me a lot. Yeah. And not that I've cured myself of that, but rethinking that has been really good. Yeah.
Yeah, those are really interesting kind of things to process. I think that, do you think some of it, I mean, depending on, like, there's the friendship thing, but there's still things like this, or your church, where you feel like you need to have this was successful, this was meaningful, this was had deep impact, and so you're, like, instead of just being present in it and being like, okay, this is what it is. We were together, and it was good.
Yeah.
You know, it's like and with friendship, it's that way too. It's just like, oh, that period was really good.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe I'll get it back someday.
Yeah.
Or another friend like that.
Or one that's where a similar thing happens in a different way.
Yeah.
And then that cool little stuff, like what I did enjoy was getting together with those old friends. And I think, I wondered, oh, will this mean we hang out again? But I don't even know if I have capacity for it. You know, like I can't do all the things, but it was cool to touch in and realize our lives had a real impact on each other, and just see that and acknowledge it and shake hands. Till next time.
Yeah. Well, and having a church for 25 years plus, and then sitting down with people that I've done church with for 25 plus years, the relationship we had at the beginning, you know what it's like in planting a church together.
Oh, very deep at some point.
Very deep. Yeah. And now, we can sit down and still have some of that, but we don't have the same relationship anymore. And And we're living different lives together.
Yeah.
Like we've grown together.
Now you're both sitting down with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you don't have that connection. But then when you have dinner with them, you're like, oh, let's do this again. And you're like, yeah, I don't know if we're going to do this again. I want to do this again, but it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
We're not doing it next week like we used to.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think that's a
very real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I don't know about you over the holidays, but this past Christmas, a number of former church folks came through town and wanted to get together, and that's cool. I did youth group stuff, so I've got youth group kids scattered across the country, and some of them come back to town and
want to see their youth pastor,
and or we'll catch a phone call or something, and those are periodic. The intensity of those relationships is very different, right? But there's still a real sweetness in that periodic thing. But you know it's not the same. There's no way it's going to be. Right? Yeah. That's but I think accepting those as good and valuable and formative, as opposed to something you've lost. That's maybe one of my big things.
Yeah. And, you get some of that experience with your kids as they grow up, because you're like, oh my gosh, you used to be this little baby and you were so cute. And
I was instructing you and therefore talking to you all day.
Yes.
And then you're, in my case this year, like, oh, my kids moved out. Like, do they remember I'm alive?
Yeah. Right. I guess I saw my kid at church.
Yeah. I see my kid at church and I'm like, I oddly need to go sit with my kid at church because this is my moment, when we're in the same room.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's just life it changes and there's stages. And if you are always holding on to the past stage or how it used to be, you're going to miss out on what's happening now.
Won't be present. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. 2026. Here we go.
That's how stats bring it up really good with conversations.
All this came from stats. Wow. Great. Well, if there was something we said today that you'd like to hear more about, that's a good thing to text or email us about. You can text through the podcast apps, or if you know us, you can text Eric, because I'll forget. Or you can email us, faithoverbreakfast@gmail.com, and I'll remember it.
Because Andy does email.
That's right. If there's any other thing you're thinking about or would like to hear us ponder.
Or if you just want to give a one-time $100,000 donation towards
hey, who are we to stop
world domination by the Faith Over Breakfast podcast?
There you go. If you want to boost those stats. Yeah. Yep. Sure. Yeah. If you want, why not? I don't want to be the one that says don't do that. Ask around, get advice, but I don't want to get in your way.
Yeah.
Okay. So thanks for tuning in. Talk to you next time.
You've been listening to Faith Over Breakfast with Pastor Eric Siepen and Pastor Andy Littleton. Please share us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you.